Alrighty, folks, welcome to our Major League Baseball free pick video here today for Friday, June 28th, 2024. Happy Friday to you. The weekend's finally here. Congratulations, you made it. And of course, my name is Brock Page. I've been dishing out free sports picks right here on YouTube since 2016. And if you want to see which one of these free plays on this video here today that I actually like, the best, you may want to think about signing up for my full access, all-inclusive Chairman package. Chairman members get access to every single premium selection of mine, every single package, every single day for the next 30 days. And as an added bonus, you also get access to my Chairman podcast, absolutely free. It's included with your purchase. And with that, folks, we're going to jump into some free content. We're going to take a look at the Marlins at the Phillies, 6:20 p.m. East. Philadelphia's minus 270, totals 8 runs. Christopher Sanchez for the Titans, Kyle Tyler for Miami. And this Miami pitching staff is definitely having a rough year. These guys are currently in the bottom 3 in runs allowed per game. Of course, at the plate, they've been equally as dismal. The Marlins are actually the lowest run-scoring team on the road in the league. And they're going to face Christopher Sanchez, who's 5-3 with an ERA in the 2s. Of course, at the plate, the Phils are still the best run-producing lineup at home in the game. Alec Boehm's got the 3rd most RBI in the majors. Trey Turner is batting .333. And out of Philly's last 10 gatherings with the Marlins, they were able to average over 5.4 runs a game. Now, injury-wise, Harper and Schwarber are questionable with lower body injuries. When it comes to the total, the Phils have seen 80% of their divisional home games get over the total. Meanwhile, Miami's 14-9 to the over against NL East opponents themselves. Give me the Phillies minus 1.5, over 8. Next game, Nats Rays, 6:50 p.m. East. Tampa Bay's minus $1.60, totals 8 runs. Zach Eflin for the Rays, Mitchell Parker for Washington. And Parker's definitely been solid for the Nats this year. He's got a 5-3 record, ERA of .330. And no real surprise here, folks. The lefty also has a whip of 1.10. And he's going to face a Tampa squad who's having all kinds of problems hitting at the trot. These guys are a bottom 5 hit-producing lineup at home in the American League. Randy Arozarena hits .189 with 82 strikeouts. And Jose Siri's got an on-base percentage of .293. But even if they do end up getting on the scoreboard a bit, starting pitcher Zach Eflin has not been overly crisp. He's got a losing 3-5 record along with an ERA in the 4s. Now, injury-wise, Brandon Lau's questionable for the Rays. Joey Gallo's out for Washington. The Nats are currently 13-5 to the under in their interleague road games. 6 out of their last 10 meetings with Tampa has also stayed under the total as well. So if you're into historical trends, plenty of unders to go around. Give me Washington plus 1.5, under 8. Next game, Rangers, Orioles, 7:05 East. Baltimore's $1.30 at home, totals 9. Albert Suarez for the O's, Max Scherzer for Texas. And Scherzer's definitely looked good in it. He definitely looked good in his season debut. No earned runs given up, 5 innings of work. Having said that, though, I'm still not so certain the Rangers can outscore Baltimore, especially if they get to that bullpen. They're currently on a 4-game skid, and they averaged only 2.7 runs a game during that time frame. And they're also going to face Albert Suarez, who's recorded only 2 losses this year with the O's, and that was through 53-plus innings. The righty currently has an ERA of just .270, but even if he does have a rough go of things here today, he is backed by the best run-producing lineup in baseball. Gunnar Henderson's got the 2nd most home runs in the majors, 3rd highest OPS. And Anthony Santander's got 26 home runs, and he's tied with Henderson for the team lead in ribbies. Now, injury-wise, Adley Rutschman's questionable with a hand injury. Evan Carter's out for the Rangers. 6 out of Texas's last 10 meetings with Baltimore did stay under the total. So once again, if you're into historical trends, certainly want to think about that one there. The O's saw 77% of their Albert Suarez starts stay under the line as well. Give me Baltimore minus 130, under 9. All right, next matchup, Yankees Blue Jays, 7:07 Eastern start time. The New York Yankees are minus $1.15, totals 9. Marcus Stroman for the Bombers, Yusei Kikuchi for Toronto. And the Cooch man's just 4-7 with an ERA in the 4s. But even if he does have a good showing here today, he probably won't get much run support. The Jays are a bottom 5 run producing team at home, and they're going to face a 7-3 Marcus Stroman, who's got an ERA of 3.15. Now he's also backed by a top 3 run producing lineup on the road. Aaron Judge leads the majors in homers, RBI, and OPS. Juan Soto hits 300 with an OPS just about in the thousands as well. Now, total-wise, the Yankees are 19-12 to the under on the road this year. Give me the Yankees minus $1.15, under 9. Next game, Rockies White Sox, 7:10 Eastern start time. Chicago's minus $1.25, totals 9 runs. Drew Thorpe for the Sox, Dakota Hudson for Colorado. And even though Hudson's been horrible this year, this could be one of those spots where he does have a rare win. Chicago averages fewer runs a game than any other squad in the majors. They're also winning just 33% of their interleague games at Guaranteed Rate Field. And they're facing a Colorado team who's actually done a nice job against White Sox pitching recently. Out of their last 10 head-to-head gatherings, the Rockies averaged 6.8 runs a game. Zeke Tovar has got the most hits on the roster. Ryan McMahon leads the organization in homers and runs batted in. When it comes to the injury list, Blackmon, Diaz, Amador, and Beck are still out for the Rockies. Meanwhile, for Chicago, Dom Fletcher's still out for them. Gavin Sheets is questionable. When it comes to the total, the Sox, the last 7 home games all stayed under the total. They're also 9-3 to the under against National League opponents at home. Give me the Rockies plus 105. Under 9. Next contest, Astros Mets, 7:10 Eastern start time. Houston's minus $1.15, totals 9 runs. Ronel Blanco for the Astros, Jose Quintana for New York. Now Quintana's just 3-5 with an ERA of 4.58. And even if he does have a good outing here today, the Mets just can't produce runs in Flushing, Queens. These guys are a bottom 5 run-scoring team in their own stadium. And they're going to face Ronel Blanco, who's 8-2 with an ERA of 2.34. The righty's got 79 punch-outs and a .97 whip. And fortunately for Blanco, he's backed by the best hit-producing lineup in the majors. These guys lead the big leagues in hits per game. Jose Altuve bats .303 and leads the lineup in hits. Mauricio Dubon's got an on-base percentage of .319. Now, injury-wise, Tucker and Caratini are still out for Houston. Starling Marte is inactive for New York. Now, the Stros' last 3 straight on the road stayed under the total. They're also 7-3 to the under in their last 10. Give me the Astros minus $1.15, under 9. Next game, Pods, Bo Sox, 7:10 Eastern start time. Boston's minus $1.55, totals 9 runs. Nick Pivetta for the Red Sox, Randy Vasquez for San Diego. And even though Vasquez really hasn't been great, well, the Padres as a team, they are red hot at the moment. These guys won 7 out of their last 8 games. When they're on the road, good things happen at the dish. They're averaging more hits a game on the road than any other roster except for one. Jurickson Profar hits .316 with a team-high 55 RBI. And Luis Arraez bats .317 himself. And they're going to face Nick Pivetta, who's got an ERA in the 4s, and he does not have a winning record. And for some reason, the Bo Sox play their worst baseball at Fenway. They currently have a losing record in front of their own crowd. And speaking of home games, Boston's last 4 straight in Beantown got over the total. They're also 7-3 to the over in their last 10 at any location. Now, San Diego went 80% to the over in their last 10 themselves. Give me the Padres plus 1.5, over 9. Next game, Pirates Braves, 7:20 p.m. East. Atlanta's $1.75, totals 8.5. Charlie Morton for the Braves, Martin Perez for Pittsburgh. And even though Perez really hasn't been stellar, the Pirates do tend to pitch well on the road. They're in the top 5 in strikeouts per 9 away from home. When it comes to cashing in on the run line, the Pirates have cashed in on the run line in 3 out of their last 4 away from home. They're facing a Braves roster who failed to cover in 6 out of their last 10 themselves. And I'll tell you what, they also strike out just way too much at the plate, and they really don't walk a whole lot either. But even if they do look good today in the box, starting pitcher Charlie Morton's been shaky at best. He does not have a winning record, and he also has an ERA of 4.20. Now, injury-wise, Anderson and Harris are out for the Braves, Bart and Davis inactive for Pittsburgh. When it comes to the total, the Pirates have done a nice job against Atlanta pitching recently. They average 5.3 runs a game in their last 10 head-to-head gatherings. And in those very meetings, the over cashed in 80% of those contests. Give me Pittsburgh plus 1.5, over 8 and a hook. Next contest, little divisional game here. Cubs, Brewers, 8:10 p.m. East. Milwaukee's $1.30, totals 8.5. Colin Ray for the Brewers, Jameson Taillon for Chicago. And listen, even though I do like the Brewers in this spot here, I'm not going to take anything away from Taillon. He's definitely looked good this year, gives these guys opportunities to win. But the big problem for Chicago, it's been their bats. They're averaging under 7.6 hits per contest, and they're going to go up against Colin Ray, who's 6-2 on the bump himself, with an ERA in the 3s. And of course, at the dish, Ray is backed by a top 3 run-producing lineup at home. And of course, I'm referring to the Brewers. Christian Yelich is hitting .325 with an on-base percentage in the 400s. And Willie Adames leads the lineup in runs batted in. Now, injury-wise, Dunn and Sanchez are out for Milwaukee. Joey Ortiz is questionable. Meanwhile, for the Cubs, Mike Tauchman's still out for them. When it comes to the total, 7 out of the Brewers' last 10 ball games did get over the total. Meanwhile, the Cubs went 8-5 to the over in their divisional road games. Give me Milwaukee minus $1.30, over 8.5. All right, next game, some more divisional action. AL Central, Guardians, Royals, 8:10 Eastern start time. KC's $1.20, totals 10 runs. Alec Marsh for the Royals, Tristan McKenzie for Cleveland. And even though McKenzie's been spotty, he is averaging just about a strikeout an inning. And the Guardians did get the W in 10 out of McKenzie's last dozen starts. And a lot of that has to do with the bats. These guys are in the top 3 in runs per game. Jose Ramirez has 21 homers, along with the second most RBI in the majors. And Stephen Kwan bats .385 with an OPS in the thousands. I'll tell you what, it could be a quick day for Alec Marsh, who's got a handful of losses and an ERA of 4.40. And as good as the Royals have been at home, they did take the loss in 6 out of their last 10 ball games. Now, injury-wise, Adam Frazier's out for the Royals. Will Brennan inactive for Cleveland. 6 out of the Guardians' last 10 ball games got over the total. Meanwhile, 5 out of McKenzie's last 6 starts got over the line as well. Give me the Guardians plus $1, over 10. All right, next matchup. It is going to be, once again, another divisional game. NL Central, Reds, Cards, 8:15 East. St. Louis is $1.40, totals 9. Andre Polani for the Cardinals, Frankie Montas for Cincinnati. And even though Montas really hasn't been overly dominant this year, these Reds pitchers do throw their best away from the Great American Ballpark. These guys allow under 7.1 hits a game on the road. And they're taking on a Cardinals team who's having a tough time in divisional play. They actually have a losing record against NL Central opponents. And a lot of that has to do with the bats. These guys are a bottom 5 run-producing team in the National League. Nolan Gorman hits just $191 with 105 strikeouts. And Dylan Carlson has an OPS in the 500s as well. But even if they do end up hitting well here today, starting pitcher Andre Polani, he has not done them many favors. He's got a 5.23 ERA along with a 1.62 whip. And when it comes to the injury list, Nootbaar and Herrera are out for the Redbirds. Candelario, Fraley, and Stevenson are questionable for the Reds. When it comes to the total, 3 out of the Reds' last 4 road games did stay under the total. They also went 60% to the under in their last 10 at any location. Give me the Reds plus 1.5, under 9. Next game, Tigers, Angels, 9:38 East. Detroit's minus $1.20, totals 9. Kenta Maeda for the Tigers, Zach Plesac for Los Angeles. And through just 9+ innings of work this year, the righty Plesac already has an ERA of 8.68. But even if he does end up throwing well here today, the Angels have definitely struggled to produce runs at home. They're in the bottom 10 in runs per game on their own diamond. Joe Adell's batting just 181, negative .2 WAR, and Taylor Ward's got the most strikeouts on the roster. Now, injury-wise, Ward is questionable for the Angels. Keep an eye on him. Baez and Carpenter out for the Tigers. Detroit did see their last 4 straight on the road stay under the total. They're also 8-2 to the under in their last 10 at any location. Now, the Angels on the other side, they went 7-3 to the under in their last 10 themselves. Give me Detroit minus $1.20, under 9. Next game, Twins, Mariners, 9:40 p.m. East. Seattle's minus $1.25, total 7. Logan Gilbert for Seattle, Bailey Ober for Minnesota. And Ober's currently 7-4 with a 1.11 whip. He also has 83 strikeouts and just 82 innings of work. But even if Ober flops here today, the Twins do a nice job of hitting on the road. These guys are in the top 5 in runs per contest in the American League away from home. Carlos Correa bats .309 with 115 total bases. And Willie Castro leads the clubhouse in hits. They're going to face a Mariner club who definitely struggles getting base runners. And somehow, these guys are now dead last in hits per game on average. It's actually even worse than the White Sox. And of course, equally as bad to that, the Mariners are striking out over 10.1 times a game at the dish. That is also a league worst. Bottom of the barrel in hits, most strikeouts. That is not a great formula, especially with these great Seattle arms. That's really just a waste. Now, injury-wise, Luke Raley's questionable for the M's. Alex Kirilloff out for the Twins. Give me Minnesota plus 105, under 7. Next contest, A's, D-backs, 9:40 p.m. East. Arizona's minus $1.55, totals 8.5. Slade Ciccone for the Diamondbacks, J.P. Sears for Oakland. And Sears is just 4-7 with an ERA in the 5s. And I'll tell you what, similar to the Mariners, Oakland just can't hit a baseball. They're dead last in hits per game while traveling. And they're going to have their hands full with a top 10 run-producing lineup in Arizona. Ketel Marte leads the roster in hits and home runs. Christian Walker's got the most RBI. Now, injury-wise, Moreno and Thomas are out for the D-backs. Toro and Ruiz inactive for Oakland. When it comes to the total, Arizona's 12-3 to the over against American League opponents at Chase Field. And speaking of home games, their last 4 straight in their own building got over the line. Give me Arizona minus $1.55, over 8.5. And with that, folks, we're going to dive into our next and final breakdown for the video here. Little NL West action. Dodgers at the Giants, 10:15 Eastern start time. Now, both teams are minus $1.10, total 7.5. Logan Webb for San Francisco, Landon Knack for the Dodgers. Through 25+ innings of work this year, Knack's done a real nice job for Los Angeles. He's got an ERA of 2.10 along with a sub-1 whip. Of course, as a team, the Dodgers won 8 out of their last 10. They're averaging just about double-digit hits a game on the road. Shohei Ohtani's got the highest OPS average in the National League, top 3 in the bigs in home runs. And Freddie Freeman's got an on-base he's got an on-base percentage of .400. OPS in the 900s as well. And they're facing a Giants team who somehow lost 6 games for Logan Webb this year. The righty currently does not have a winning record despite some really good outings. And out of the Giants' last 10 meetings with the Dodgers, they were held to just 2.9 runs a game. So really struggling against Dodger pitching. Now, injury-wise, Yastrzemski and Luciano are still out for the Giants. Wade is expected to start, however. Meanwhile, for the Dodgers, Mookie Betts still out for them. San Francisco went 7-3 to the over in their last 10. They also gave up 5 runs a game on average in their last 10 gatherings with the Dodgers. Give me LA minus $110, over 7.5. And with that, folks, we're going to dive into our quick pick recap. Give me the Phillies minus 1.5, over 8 runs. Washington plus 1.5, under 8. Orioles minus $1.30, under 9. Yankees minus $1.15, under 9 runs. Colorado plus 105, under 9. Houston minus $1.15, under 9 runs. San Diego plus 1.5, over 9. Pirates plus 1.5, over 8 and a hook. Brewers minus 130, over 8.5. Guardians plus $1, over 10. Reds plus 1.5, under 9. Tigers minus $1.20, under 9 runs. Twins plus 105, under 7. D-backs minus $1.55, over 8.5. And give me the Dodgers minus $1.10, over 7.5. And with that, folks, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on my premium site. Now, if you do end up getting a membership here today on patreon.com/BrockPage, just a friendly reminder, you're going to get access to that membership every single day for the next 30 days. As an added bonus, you're also going to get access to all of my cheaper memberships absolutely free. They're going to be included with your purchase. That's why I always tell folks, that Chairman package, it's a full access, all-inclusive membership. Gives you access to every single premium selection line, every single package, every single day for the next 30 days. As an added bonus, you also get access to my Chairman podcast absolutely free. It's included with your purchase. But most importantly, folks, gotta thank you for joining me right here on the free video. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, folks, happy Friday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my premium site at patreon.com/BrockPage.